Hey everybody, it's Dave, and right now I'm putting the finishing touches on my last in the series of California RV adventures. And a couple of summers ago, my wife and I took a two and a half week trip through California, starting in San Diego at Silver Strand Beach, and then we worked our way up the coast. And I decided for the last couple of days of our trip, I wanted to go to Lake Tahoe and Yosemite. And I made a mistake, two mistakes. Mistake number one is I waited a couple of days longer than I should have to get on the website. And mistake number two is I booked right around the 4th of July weekend. 4th of July. Woo! So I should have known better. If you want to book a campsite in a major camp area, like campground area, like Grand Canyon or Yellowstone, Yosemite, Lake Tahoe, Bryce Canyon, any of those places, you really need to get on the website 6 months to the day. So if you want to book in July 1st, you really should have booked January 1st and get on the website. The website is recreation.gov. And my first choice to get in Lake Tahoe was to try and book at Nevada Beach Campground. It's the campground that everybody says is really one of the best ones at Lake Tahoe. But unfortunately, when I got on the website, it was booked solid. So I did find another spot at a place called Tahoe Valley Campground. It was a little more expensive. It's a nice campground, a little bit crowded. It's one of those campgrounds that's affiliated with the Thousand Trails Network and Encore. And that's a whole nother story. One of these days we'll do a video on that, but that's a group that you can sign up with, a membership group called Thousand Trails. Some of you might be familiar with it. And then when I booked it when I booked at Yosemite, it was also booked, but I was lucky to get one spot at Lower Pines Campground. And so I think it was lucky because it was a Monday night. We were coming in on a Monday. So I decided to boondock on a Sunday night outside of the park, and then we drove in and camped at Lower Pines. But we had a good time. I wish could have stayed a few extra days at Yosemite because it was beautiful. So let's go to Yosemite and Lake Tahoe and take a look at that. And if you ever get a chance to go there, you will enjoy it. So let's go, Yosemite and Lake Tahoe.
So someday when my ship comes in, I know just what we'll do. We'll pack our bags and quit our jobs and have a holiday for two.
Well, we left Santa Cruz early in the morning, and that was a mistake. I'll tell you about that. But I knew we had about at least a 5-hour drive from Santa Cruz all the way up to South Lake Tahoe. We made a couple stops, and I think we made it in a little over 5.5 hours, so not too bad. The drive between Santa Cruz, though, and San Jose was probably the scariest part of the whole trip that we took. I left during rush hour, and that was a mistake. Cars were going 80 miles an hour and a little narrow freeway. Unbelievable. Well, we got into Tahoe Valley, I want to say probably about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And it was at a Tahoe Valley Campground, one of the Encore membership campgrounds that you can sign up through Thousand Trails. It's a nice campground, a little bit pricey. I'll show you that in a second. They have a lot of amenities like a store and a general store where you can go in and gifts and stuff, a gift shop, ice, a few odds and ends and things you might need like ketchup and mustard and hot dogs. And of course there's some places close by too within walking distance, like there's a Rally's supermarket and a CVS and things like that. But it's the price that was kind of got me. I think at the time when we booked there it was $50 a night, and now it's $72 and $77. Woo! So it's gone up in 2 years. But Nevada Beach was the campground that I was shooting for, but it was booked solid. Always need to get on those campgrounds 6 months out to make sure you can get a spot, especially in popular places. And I should have also known because it was 4th of July weekend, and there was a lot of people there. And it was a beautiful weekend. The weather was great, perfect. They had fireworks on the beach, and people could sit out on the beach and watch the fireworks at night from downtown South Lake Tahoe. It was really nice. And the next day we took a day trip and went to the beach and hung out in the water. And the water was cold. My wife was the brave one. She got in the water. I stayed out and took pictures. And I don't remember the name of the mountains there in the background, but those are some, I think they call those the Palisades, if I remember right. Those mountains are about 8,500 feet, and they still had snow on them around the 4th of July. Can you believe that? That was 2019, and you know, every summer is going to be a little different on the weather. Beautiful beach, though. A lot of people in the water, brave souls, swimming, and even some boats out there on the water. People with their paddle boards and stuff getting out. Just a beautiful, clear water. My wife was the brave one. She got in. I think the water was probably 55, 65 degrees. Next morning we got up, had a blueberry pancake breakfast at Tahoe Valley Campground. I think the charge was like $10, but it was huge. Pancakes and bacon. Yum, yum. Next day we drove down to 395 and headed to Lee Vining, where I found a boondocking spot I will show you in a little bit, near Lee Vining. So we camped there for the night. This is a picture of Mono Lake from the overlook. So we found a boondocking spot near a mobile station. As you go in from Lee Vining off the 395, there's some dispersed campsites, but they're small. We're only 25 feet, so we had no problem getting in there. You could probably squeeze a 30-foot motorhome where we were. I'll show you a picture there in a second. There's our spot. But it would be a tight squeeze for a 30-foot motorhome, but you probably could do it. Small camper vans, no problem at all. Nice little boondocking spot. Quiet. Had a nice little road. We could take our dog for a walk. And there were other campers taking advantage of this boondocking spot. Like I said, there's not a lot of spots there, so you want to grab those if you can, as soon as you can. And the next morning when we got up to go into Yosemite, we went through Tioga Pass. That's looking up towards the west, towards Tioga Pass right there. Beautiful. There are campgrounds between there and Tioga Pass, so you could always check those out too. This is the drive-in to Lake Tahoe. Got a little music for you. Jam your feet too. I made this video on Google and I just liked the music and the feel, the vibe of it, so I just kind of left it in. But it's a beautiful drive. And it wasn't really too crowded. I think because we were there coming in on a Monday, it wasn't as crowded as it would normally have been. If you go on a weekend in the summertime, expect big crowds. They have a little general store at Lake Tahoe that you can go in and get supplies and groceries. They have an abundance of groceries there. So if you forget things on your trip into Yosemite, don't worry. The prices weren't too bad either. They had milk, coffee creamer, some of those kind of things that we usually forget, and ice, of course. Did a little hiking around the falls. And it was very, very green because I think 2019 they had a lot of rain that summer, at least before our trip. And it was very green. I know last summer it was really dry, so it kind of comes and goes. Hiked around the falls. There are shuttle buses that take you all around. And there's little maps that show you where the shuttle buses go and pick you up. And the Merced was running, somebody said it was running the highest it's ran when we were there for several years because of all the rains. And my wife taking our little Chewy for a walk. Almost anywhere you take a picture in Yosemite, it's like a photogenic place. Everywhere you point your camera is a beautiful shot. Well, please hit subscribe, like, and share. I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned at the end. I'm going to include a little road map and show you some of the things that we stopped at along the way. Bye. All right. Well, I'll give you a couple little tips on what we saw and what we did on the way. But like I told you in the video, the trip out of Henry Cowell Redwoods Park, we got on the 17 and headed into San Jose. And like I said, that was a scary ride. The freeway there is so darn narrow. Let me zoom in on here and you'll see what I'm talking about. And everybody's going like 80 miles an hour. Yeah, through this little raceway. I don't know what else to call it. They were going 85 or 80, 85 miles an hour, and I don't like to go too fast in a motorhome. I maybe 70 at the most, 75, but I was pushing it. So I just backed off and let people go around me. And like I said, it was kind of scary. But that's the way people are sometimes when they're trying to get to work, right? So that was the trip to Tahoe anyway. We took the 17 and we made a stop in Tracy. We took the, let me zoom in here. We took the 680, took the 205, stopped in Tracy at the Walmart, got groceries. I think there's like a big super Walmart right here near the Costco. There it is. And got groceries there. Didn't need gas yet, so we went up to Sacramento and got gas in Sacramento and fuel. And I think I made another stop here somewhere like in Placerville and pulling into South Lake Tahoe. We left Santa Cruz, I want to say 8 o'clock in the morning because I knew I had a drive ahead of me. So we pulled in about 2:30. So maybe 2 o'clock. So that was about a 6-hour drive, but we made a few stops on the way. So maybe 5.5 hours. I'm not exactly sure, but I wasn't in a hurry. So, and it wasn't a bad drive. I think a little over 420 miles. But we did it, and it was nice. I don't like to do long trips in a day. I try to keep my day trips short, like maybe under 300 miles, because just something about riding in a motorhome more than 300 or 400 miles can really fatigue you. And so I try to keep them. It just keeps you fresh. If you could take long trips, it can really wear you out, not walking around. But we pulled into South Lake Tahoe to Tahoe Valley Campground, which is right here. And it's nice. It's a little pricey, like I told you a minute ago. You can go on the website. Encore and Thousand Trails are two affiliated membership clubs. Actually, Thousand Trails is affiliated with Encore. And you sign up with Thousand Trails for a year, and I think you pay a fee. And I'm just guessing that right now because I know I listened to their sales pitch while we were there, and it was about $400 or $500 for a year. But then you have to buy different zones. And so I didn't take it at the time because maybe in the future, if we do more full-time traveling, it might be worth it. But we just decided not to do it. I've heard good things about them and bad things about them, but I won't get into all that right now. So we'll get back to where we were on the trip. We did stay at Tahoe Valley Campground. It was a little pricey, but everything else was booked. I tried to get it in up here at Nevada Beach, and it was, I think up a little harder, farther here. Nope. There it is. Maybe it's right there. Down here. There it is. Almost lost the beach. Nevada Beach Campground. This is one of the campgrounds that people talk about being a really nice one. And so in the future, if I go back, I want to try and get in there, but I want to try and book it 6 months to the day so I don't wait. And maybe not book around the 4th of July. That's kind of a bad time. It was really packed. So we stayed there a couple of days, South Lake Tahoe, then we headed out, saw South Lake Tahoe on the 89, took the 89 over to the 395. Nice little road. We took the 89 to Markleyville and around through here. It was a little bit twisty turny here and on the 89. We weren't pulling the Jeep, and I think if I was pulling the Jeep, I might have to rethink this road. It was a little twisty turny right in here, but not too bad. I know we had that run-in in Colorado the next summer, literally a run-in with a semi-truck around a curve. And so I'm always kind of leery about twisty mountain roads if I'm pulling something. But just a beautiful drive. Came down here to Mono Lake, made a few stops. Gas along here, the 395. Ooh, watch out. If you can get gas, there are a few places here you can stop. If you have Gas Buddy, use your Gas Buddy app to find the cheapest gas if you need it. And actually, it wasn't too bad at the mobile station right here in Lee Vining. I want to say it was about, well, it was cheaper then than it is now. If I clicked on it now, let's see what it is. Regular, $5.80 a gallon. Ooh, I want to say it was probably about $4 a gallon then. So anyway, I only took on about 10 gallons because that's all I needed to get up to Yosemite to hold me until after Yosemite. There are some campgrounds here. I saw a couple, but I decided to try a boondocking spot that I found on freecampsites.net. And it's right outside of the mobile station here. There's a place here you can get fresh water here near Lee Vining. Let me switch to satellite mode here and I'll zoom in for you. There we go. Just out of the mobile station, come down the highway and make a turn right here on this little forest road. You're going to turn left and go up. There's a couple spots. I want to say we were in this spot right here. There was somebody already parked in this bigger spot. And from what I do remember, this would have been nice if you had a big motorhome, like a 30-foot, 35-foot. But you have to get there and get there before anybody else grabs it because there aren't that many spots. We had this one, and there was a little trailer here parked at one of these spots. And I don't think anybody can go past this. I'm not sure what this is. This is like a ranger station or something where they live. So anyway, we spent the night there, got it back up on the road, and headed into Tioga Pass. And this is a beautiful way to come in. Take your time. There's Tioga Pass, Tioga Peak. And I don't really know how high it is. Let's see if it says here on Google Maps. I want to say it's like 9,000 feet. Usually they'll give you that information, but it's just a beautiful way to come in. And it's a nice drive to make your way into Yosemite Valley. And you know, when I'm on satellite mode, I get lost. Let me switch to terrain. There we go. We took the Tioga Road around here. Nice drive, places you can stop and take pictures. There were some campgrounds in here that I tried to book, but like I said, I got on the website a little bit too late, and all these spots were taken. I was lucky to get a spot inside the campground, or in the valley area here at Lower Pines, which is kind of right at the end here of the drive. But when you get into the valley, there's a bus shuttle system that drives you all around. It does a big, huge loop. So once you get parked in a campground, you don't need to drive your motorhome around. There's Lower Pines right there, near the Merced. And then there's another campground, which is kind of funny to me that they call this Upper Pines and Lower Pines. I would think this is the lower one, but anyway, they get them mixed. It gets me mixed up when I see that. It's like, wouldn't that seem to be the upper one and the lower one? But oh, I didn't name it, so that's nice place to walk. I mean, those places you can walk from. We did walk from our campground in here. We did walk up to the village, and we walked around on this road. I think we walked from this campground up to the village store, which is about a mile, maybe a mile, at least a mile. And then we stopped at the village store, went around. There's a big, huge gift shop. You can go up to the visitor center, and then you can hike up to the falls up here. And the shuttle, once you get up here, if you get tired and you want a little ride, you can take the shuttle all around, and it does a huge loop. There, the loop kind of goes all the way to here and then comes back around. Just a fun. You could easily spend 2 days here and not really see everything. So, like I said, I wish I could have booked another night so we had more time to go around and see things. We've been there before in the past, so we have seen some of the other things. And if you come in from the west side through the tunnel, there's a really cool view here. If you come in from the west, this tunnel view, right there. This is like the best place to stop. If there's not a lot of room to park, so if you're in a little van, you'll be okay. But if you're in a 35-foot
30-foot motorhome, you might not be able to stop. But it's a beautiful little parking place to stop, and just look at that picture right there. Yeah, beautiful. Nice, beautiful shot there of the valley. And it would be fun to see it in the wintertime, wouldn't it be? Brr. But anyway, that's where these pictures are taken from the viewpoint as you're coming in on the west tunnel there. So I hope you have fun. If you ever get a chance to go to Yosemite, grab the chance, book ahead of time. Tahoe is fun too. Just try, if you're going to book on the 4th of July weekend, make sure you book ahead of time. All right, hope you enjoyed this and hope you find it helpful. Anyway, wherever you go, be safe and have a great trip.